Box on the table, Mr. Cole, the guard says. Badge too. I hear you, I say. Do I hand over my dignity as well? Ethan, Liam whispers, don't poke the bear. I'm not poking, I say. I'm bleeding. HR opens the door. Mr. Cole, we have evidence you emailed restricted models. I didn't, I say. I built the model and locked it. Badge, she repeats. Take the plastic, I say, setting the box down. Victoria, I call through the glass. Are you really doing this? She stops. Security handles separations, she says. Good luck, Ethan. Luck, I say. I gave you 4 years. 4 years and 1 bad night, she says. What night? 2:17 a.m., she says. Check your conscience. My conscience sleeps, I say. My account doesn't. Liam steps closer. Vic, you know him, he says. He wouldn't leak a grocery list. We're done, she says and walks. The guard points. Exit is this way. I pick up my box and walk. Say something, Liam whispers. Make a scene. Not yet, I say. The scene comes later. At the turnstile, the guard holds out his hand. Badge. I press it into his glove. Tell it I cared too much. Outside, Liam says, your account pinged at 2:17, but you were with me. Fries and regret, I say. You want me to talk to her? No, I say. I want proof. Call Grace, he says. She'll keep you vertical. I will, I say. Text me if you find anything. A black SUV idles by the curb. I head home. I drop the box and open my laptop. Come on, I whisper. Show me the ghost. I scan my backup. There it is. A thread with my name, a file I never sent. Who wears my face at 2:17? I ask the screen. I open headers. Proxy hops. Phrases I don't use. I never write deliverables, only risk. My phone buzzes. Unknown number. Enjoy the early weekend. Cute, I say. Enjoy the audit, I call Grace. She answers fast. Tell me it's manageable. It's knives, I say. They cut me. Use words, she says. Not knives. They accused me, I say. Victoria wouldn't meet my eyes. Comfort or strategy? She asks. Both, I say. Start with strategy. What do you have? A fake thread, I say. Wrong voice. Proxy trail. Good, she says. Screenshot everything. Dates, times, IPs. I'm building a folder, I say. I want blood, but I'll settle for truth. You won't settle, she says. What about Liam? Alibi, I say. He'll swear we were together at 2:17. Who benefits if you fall? Marcus, maybe? And Victoria stays clean if I'm dirty. Call a lawyer, she says. Don't call Victoria. I wasn't going to, I say. When she looked away, something in me snapped. Let it snap into a plan, she says. Not a charge. I'm not the criminal, I say. I know where the numbers lie. Then act like it, she says. Breathe. I'm breathing, I say. Tonight you document, she says. Not fight. I hear you, I say. And Ethan? Yeah? Don't go back to the office, she says. Not alone. Not angry, I won't, I say. Not tonight. Text me the files, she says. I will, I say. Thanks. Always, she says and hangs up. Liam texts, you safe? Define safe, I write. Corridor cams went dark at 2:10, he sends. That never happens. Someone planned it, I reply. Keep digging, quietly. Copy. Also that SUV that tailed you? I don't like it, me neither, I write. Let them watch me work. I open a note and type names. They think I'm finished, I say. I'm beginning. A new text arrives. Walk away, Ethan. Walk toward, I type. Then delete it. I call Grace again. One more thing, I say. Tell me to sleep. Sleep, she says. And promise you won't go hunting tonight. Promise, I say. I'll build a spine instead. Your spine is fine, she says. Your heart's bruised. Ice, not fire. I'll try, I say. Good night, she says. And Ethan? Yeah? Remember who you are, she says. You're not a leak. You're a lighthouse. I'll keep the light on, I say. Good night. Calm is over, I whisper. I save screenshots, zip the folder, and name it 2:17 Truth. My inbox pings. Enjoy the silence while it lasts. I type back, silence breaks, and stop. I write the first line of a plan. Find the hand behind my name. Phone face down. I count 10 and choose evidence. Noah meets me at the door. You look like you slept in a fire. I got burned, I say. False charge. Wrong man. We need proof, not feelings, he says. Sit, I open my bag. Backups, screenshots, a motive list. List first, he says. Marcus Voss on top, I say. Kowo, wanted my job. Ambition with keys, he says. Others? 2 directors who hated my model. A vendor who profits if it fails. Good, now logs. I slide my laptop over. 2:17 a.m., my credentials. Where were you at 2:17? He asks. Diner with Liam, I say. He can swear it. Alibis help, he says, but logs speak louder. Pull raw, I type. VPN hop, masked device. Email tone not mine. What tells you that? I never write deliverables, I say. I write risk and exposure. He nods. Language fingerprints, I show a text. Victoria, 2 weeks before the breakup, trust me. He studies it. I trusted, I say. Now I verify. Keep your head, he says. Anger cheapens evidence, I tap folders. Timestamps, IPs, change history. Hashes tonight. Who controls token resets? He asks. It says emergencies go to the COO, I say. Marcus signs policy. So he opens doors without leaving prints, Noah says, and corridor cameras went dark at 2:10, I add. That smells planned, he says. I want this loud, I say. Press, board, floodlights. No, he says. Quiet plan. We collect and preserve. No alerts. Target? I ask. Marcus and Victoria until separated, he says. You don't know who pulled the wire. My phone buzzes. Liam, I'm solid for 2:17. Receipt saved. I show Noah. We'll need a statement, he says. Time booth, check number. He flips the list. Why would Marcus frame you? My model blocks his shortcuts, I say. Cost control mask kickbacks. Rumor? Pattern, I say. Money moves when oversight sleeps. Find invoices, not vibes, he says. And Victoria? He asks. She signs and smiles, I say. When it breaks, she looks away. Bring signatures, he says. Digital stamps, audit trail. I have copies, I say. I'll hash them. Chain of custody, he says. Start now, he leans back. What do you need to gather? Raw server logs, I say. Router exports. Permission history. Good, he says. Have Liam clone from the switch. Checksums on media. No edits. Done, I say. My phone lights. Walk away, I screenshot. Harassment, I say. Forward to me, he says. We'll include it. I want to hear her admit it, I say. You want catharsis, he says. Courts want paper, I point at the chart. See these short bursts? Test before the cut. Pull a wider range, he says. I run it. Same proxy city, night pattern. The hand repeats, he says. Good, he stands. Rules. 1. Document first. 2. No contact with targets. 3. Don't post. 4. Breathe. Add 5, I say. Winning is built, he says. Brick by brick, I offer my hand. You believe me? I believe facts, he says, shaking. Bring me better ones. I will, I say. He adds, do not confront her yet. I hear you, I say. He looks through me. Say it like you mean it. I won't confront her, I say, and taste the lie. In the elevator, I text Liam, quiet plan. Collect everything. You're quiet or actual quiet? He replies, actual quiet, I send. Router clone, checksums, no talk. On it, he writes. Also, cams went down right before 2:17. Timed. Perfect for us, I type. Patterns love daylight. Outside, I call Grace. Noah is sharp, I say. Scalpel or sword? She asks. Scalpel, I say. He wants a gentle war. I still want noise, I say. Start with notes, she says. End with noise if needed. Copy, I say. I'll send logs tonight. Send receipts, she says. Alibis matter. Liam kept them, I say. An unknown text lands. Enjoy the silence while it lasts. Ethan? Grace asks. Nothing, I say. I'm focused. Eat, she says. Then work. Food, then work, I say. Sleep after logs, she says. After the logs, I echo. At my desk, I pull raw. Come on, I whisper. Show me your seams. Tokens and session IDs pour in. I hash and copy to 2 drives. I label the folder 217 raw truth. Noah texts 9 a.m. Bring clones. I'll be there. I write. I stare at Victoria's text. Trust me, I did, I say. Now prove me wrong or prove me right, the city hums. I choose the quiet tonight. Keep your head down, Liam whispers. Temp badge works, but it hits the door log. I only need 5 minutes, I say. Clock me. 5, he says. No hero moves. I already lost the cape. The elevator opens on a dark floor. Lights? He asks. No lights, I say. At my desk, I breathe once. Cover me. I'm here, he says. 4 minutes, I lift the keyboard. A pale line cuts dust. That line, I say. A tiny drive lived here. Gone, he says. Someone knew my hiding spot. I touch the tower. Side panel loose, screws soft. They opened it, I say. Pull power, he says. I kill the cord, slide in a clone stick. The fan stops. Fast image, I say. I glance at the ceiling dome. Cam live? I ask. Dead since your night, he says. They killed the witness. My phone buzzes. I text, Ava, it's Ethan. Need to talk. Safe? Dots. Then, maybe. Good enough, I say. Who's Ava? He asks. Junior analyst, I say. She sees patterns. He taps his watch. 2 minutes, I search drawers. In back, a crumpled sticky note. I open it. 2 letters, or. What's that mean? He asks. I don't know yet, I say. But someone left it for me. Trap or breadcrumb, he says. Clue, I say. I keep it. Ava texts, not safe here. Call from outside. Use signal 10 minutes, I type. He nods toward the window. Black SUV, same plate as last night. They're watching, he says. Good, I say. Let them. Image? He asks. 90%, I say. Luck bites back. The bar hits full. I pocket the stick. Power up, he says. I plug in. The fan wakes. We wipe prints. Cleaner than before, I say. Time, he whispers. We go. One thing, I say, angling my chair like always. Why? People read chairs, I say. Let them read normal. We ghost the hall. At reception, I pause at the plant. Don't, he warns. I lift a leaf. A linty mic hides in the soil. Hobby trash, he says. Leave it, I say. In the elevator, he exhales. Hands shaking? Inside, I say. Cold air greets us in the garage. The SUV idles near the ramp. Same guys? I ask. Too tinted, he says. I call Ava on signal. She answers low. It's me, I say. I heard you were done, she says. I'm not done, I say. I'm cut and looking. I can't talk long, she says. People ask about your folders. Which people? Ops, she says. And someone from investments. Name? Only initials on the invite, she says. OR, I look at the note in my palm. I found those letters at my desk, she breathes. Then they want you to know. Or they want me to run, I say. Don't run, she says. But don't stand in the open. Can you meet? I ask. Not inside, she says. There's a rule about you. What rule? No emails, no calls. If we speak, we whisper. We'll whisper, I say. Pick a place. Underpass by the river, she says. No cameras. 30 minutes. I'll be there, I say. And Ava? Yeah. Thank you. Don't thank me yet, she says. They're mean when scared. The line clicks. Liam watches the SUV. Driver on phone. Passenger scanning. Leave slow, I say. Boring saves lives. Boring we can do. We walk to his car. My hand sweats around the note. What if OR is a floor code? He asks. Then I wasted a heartbeat, I say. But it feels like a name. He starts the engine. River first? River, I say. Then the warehouse. He glances over. Warehouse? Home field, I say. Keys, privacy, walls that listen to me. The SUV rolls after us. Say when, he murmurs. Not yet, I say. Let them think we're soft. My phone pings. Unknown. Walk away. I text back. Walk closer. We hit the ramp. 5 minutes turned into 20, he says. And bought us a map, I say. Dust, dead cam, missing drive, OR, a tail. And Ava, he adds. And Ava, I say. Maybe our first clean line. He merges onto the river road. Underpass ahead, he says. Park 2 blocks back, I say. We walk. I tuck the note into my wallet and touch the clone stick in my pocket. Talk soft, I tell myself. Listen harder, Liam kills the lights. 5 more minutes? As many as it takes, I say. Tonight I don't run. I jiggle the lock and listen, I say. Still solid. I lift the rolling door and step in. My father kept wrenches here, I say. Now it keeps me. One strip light flickers. Half empty, half mine, I whisper. I set my bag down, pull a whiteboard, pop a marker now. Names, I say. Arrows times. Ethan goes small in the corner. Who wins if I fall? Marcus, I answer. He gets my chair. Victoria, I test. Maybe she stays clean. The investors, I add. Always, I write 210, cameras dead. 217, my credentials. 222, clean up. Pattern breathes, I say. Somebody rehearse this. My phone buzzes. Ava's name lights up. It's me, I say. You safe? I can't talk long, she says. I'm at my desk. Give me the short truth. Marcus pushed a cost control program, she says. You hinted, I say. What is it really? A veil, she says. Kickbacks hide as efficiency credits or vendor numbers get washed. He used my model? As cover, she says. He said your simulation supports his thresholds. My model chokes on fraud, I say. He rewired it. He forked a copy, she says. Renamed variables. Loosened tolerances. I circle Marcus in red and draw a blade by his name. And Victoria? I ask, marker over her box. Silence. She signed everything, Ava says at last. All of it? Policy memos, vendor approvals, rollout schedule, she says. She knew? She knew the program, she says. I can't read her head. She watched me burn, I say. I saw, Ava says. I'm sorry. Sorry, I say. Stay safe. I'm trying, she says. Ops is scanning phones. I used a spare. Good, send nothing. Speak only. Understood, she says. Do you have a safe base? The family warehouse, I say. Then listen, she says. The board meets Friday to bless expansion. After that, money moves. I print Friday huge and draw an arrow to a circle. Shells. What do you need from me? She asks. Breath and warnings, I say. Tell me if the schedule shifts. I will, she says. Ethan? Yeah? You weren't wrong about the model, she says. They were wrong about you. I'll make them hear it, I say. Watch your back, she whispers. I watch the doors, I say. And I have a key. I have to go, she says. Thank you, Ava, I say. Stay safe. The line dies. Signed everything, I say. You inked your name on my fall. I draw a crown over Victoria and cut a crack through it. I open a locker, find an old thermos, sip rust and memory. Plan, I say. Noah wants quiet. I want results. I write bait. I write isolate. I write record. Drag her out of glass, I say. Make her look at me. My phone pings. Grace, eating? 60% caffeine, 40% rage, I text. Balance it, she writes. What's new? Marcus built a veil. Victoria signed. Then cut the veil, she writes. I'll use the dock I send. I test the side exit, roof hatch, big gate. Locks hold, I say. This place holds me together. I lay out zip ties, soft rope, a recorder, 2 burners. I don't want violence, I tell the table. I want answers. Dusk stains the windows. It starts with a message, I say. I open a burner and type to a number I bought. I can clear your name. Meet me off-site, alone. I add an address near the docks, not here. Will she bite? I ask the lockers. She loves control, I answer. She hates doubt. The warehouse smells like oil and salt and old plans. Tools don't lie, my father said. People do. I look at the board, the cracked crown, the red blade, the Friday arrow. I'm not a weapon, I say. I'm a witness with teeth. The burner buzzes. Where? When? Now, I whisper. Come down from your tower, I type. Tonight. 8. Piercy Service Road. Another buzz. Alone? Alone, I send. No board. No Marcus. I close the burner and kill the light. I breathe once. Steady. I slide the door down until it kisses concrete. Who wins if I fall? I ask once more. Marcus, I answer. Not tonight. Victoria, I say. You'll listen. The investors, I add. You'll count losses. I lock the door and hold the key in my palm. This is my ground, I say. I set the terms. The bay wind wakes me clean. I pocket the warehouse key and head for Pier C. The wind bites the pier when I text, I can clear your name. Meet me off-site, alone. Her reply lands fast. Where? Pier C Service Road, I send. No entourage. Fine, she writes. 10 minutes, Liam buzzes. You sure? Sure enough, I say. eyes open. I'll circle 2 blocks out, he says. She always brings friends, I say. Headlights crawl by the chain link. A sedan stops. She steps out, coat sharp, eyes sharper. You're brave or stupid, she says. Both, I say. You used a burner, she says. Careful, I say. You taught me, she scans the dark. Confession or shakedown? Math, I say. And mercy if you cooperate, she turns. We're done. We're starting, I say, lifting my phone. You signed this ledger, she freezes. Where did you get that page? A thread you ignored, I say. Vendors, credits, thresholds. Context matters, she says. You don't understand the board. Then help me understand, I say. Who wins if I fall? The company survives, she says. Do certain pockets survive? I ask, tires hiss. An SUV rolls up, she stiffens. That's not mine. It's his, I say. The door opens. A voice carries. Walk away, Hale. Marcus, she forces a smile. Evening? Get in the car, he calls. This is compromised. It's a chat, I say. You don't get chats, he says. You get served. He eyes my phone. Cute prop. It sings, I say. He turns to her. We leave. He has a page, she says. A fake, he says. I swipe to her stamp. Your initials. Your time. That stamp lives in ops, he says. Anyone could spoof it. You'd know, I say. 2 men stare from the SUV. You want to test courage? Marcus asks. I test truth, I say. Truth is what the board votes, he says. Truth is what logs repeat. I say. Logs bend, he says. Not these, I say. Stop, she says. Both of you. This is beneath us, Marcus says. So is framing me, I say. You were careless, he says. I was eating fries at 2:17, I say. On camera! Cameras fail, he says. Your team made sure, I say. Prove it, he snaps. I face her. Be a leader, choose. Walk with him or walk with the truth. This is manipulation, Marcus says. I'm focused, I say. And done with silence, she eyes the screen. Where does that page fit? In a chain, I say. Policy to payment, payment to shell, shell to kickback. Allegations, Marcus says. Patterns, I say. Board meets Friday, she whispers. Your last clean window, I say. Final time, he says. Get in, or what? I ask. Or regret tonight, he says. I already regret trusting you, I say. He laughs. Adorable. I angle toward a narrow side street. Walk, I tell her. You're making a mistake, she says. I made one when I trusted you, I whisper. I'm correcting it. If I go, what do I get? A room without handlers, I say. A chance to listen. Or a headline, Marcus says. Hale lured by disgruntled ex. Projection, I say. My phone buzzes. Liam. Backup SUV northbound. Hold. Record plates, I text. Marcus notes it. Texting your fan club? Documenting your arrogance, I say. He motions. The men step forward. I raise a palm. No fights. Just feet. She inches closer. You said you could clear my name. I can, I say. If you stop lying to yourself. I'm not lying, she says softer. Prove it, I say. Walk, Marcus lowers his voice. Liability, optics, governance, walk away and I'll tidy this. Tidy means bury, I say. Tidy protects the company, he says. Your pipeline, I say. Enough, he snaps. Last call. She looks at the water, then his SUV, then my screen. Alone, I remind her. That was the deal, she nods once. 5 minutes. 5, I say. Right now, Marcus points. This isn't over. It's barely begun, I say. We move into the side street. Brick cold, salt air on the other. If this is a trap, you lose me forever, she says. If it's a mirror, you might see yourself, I say. What will you ask? Everything, I say. But tonight, one thing. What? Did you know the cost control veil hid kickbacks? I knew results looked good, she says. That's not an answer, I say. It's the answer I had, she says. We reach the bend where the SUV can't see. 5 minutes start now, I say. Walk with the truth. I lead her inside and shut the big door. The warehouse swallows our footsteps. Sit, I say, pointing at the chair bolted to the slab. You think I'm afraid of a chair? She asks. I think you're fast, I say. And I need you still. Soft rope slides in my hands. I loop her wrists, then the back rail, careful and firm. Too tight? I ask. She tests it. Comfortable prison. I'm not here to hurt you, I say. I'm here to stop you from running. This is kidnapping, Ethan. This is truth-finding, I say. She exhales. And if I refuse to speak? Then the recorder speaks, I say. I set a small device on the table and click it on. State your name, I say. Victoria Hale, she says. Hostage. Visitor, I say. Witness. Ask, she mutters. I open a folder. Times, dates, payments. Start with the veil Marcus sold the board. Cost control delivered margin, she says. It delivered cover, I say. Credits that aren't real. You don't understand the board. Then help me understand. I read, Memo 4.3, signed by you. Vendor cuts. Thresholds loosened. Temporary, she says. Permanent enough to move money. She leans back, rope creaking. You're angry. I'm precise, I say. 210 cameras, maintenance. 217 my credentials used. 222 cleanup. Weekly pattern. Marcus managed operations, she says. So Marcus alone? Marcus led, she says. And someone above him. Names, I say. Silence. I slide a sticky note across the table. 2 letters. Or, her eyes snap to it. Say it, I say. Oliver Reed, she whispers. Who is he to you? Major investor, she says. Structured money, pressure. Does he own Marcus? He funds him, she says. Ownership by other means. I pace once. Why use me? You were credible, she says. And naive about politics. I built a model to choke scams, I say. You signed the knife that cut its throat. She looks at the recorder. Turn it off. No, I say. We stay honest. You won't release this, she says. It hurts you too. It frees me, I say. Logs clear me. Your voice adds motive. You think the board will choose you over capital? I think juries read spreadsheets, I say. What do you want? She asks. Answers, I say. Then choices, meaning? You testify, I say. Or I walk you to Detective Carter. Threats, options. Marcus will bury us before sunrise, she says. You believe him? I believe money, she says. It moves faster than truth. Truth has legs tonight, I say, tapping the recorder. Why the rope? She asks. Because you run when cornered, I say. And I need the corner to talk. No harm? No harm, I say. You'll walk out. Ask then. Who killed the cameras? Ops on Marcus's order, she says. Who forged my voice? Security engineering, she says. They cloned your token. Who collected the kickbacks? Shells tied to a fund Oliver assembled, she says. Who else on the board knows? Enough to nod, she says. Not enough to sign emails. Why did you sign? I ask. I kept the company alive, she says. At my expense, I say. At my own, she snaps. If growth died, people lost jobs. People lost me, I say. And the truth. You want me to say I failed, she says. I want you to say it to a court. I can't fight Oliver alone, she says. You're not alone, I say. Ava is scared but clear. Noah is ready. Press is hungry. Ava talked to you? She saw the math, I say. It bled. Poor kid, she murmurs. Don't condescend, I say. She kept receipts. Did you? I kept collapse away, she says. You kept Marcus in your shadow and called it leadership, I say. You're hurt, she says. I'm awake, I say. Answer this last. She nods, wary. Why did you let them use me? She looks away. Silence hums in the high room. Why me, Victoria? She closes her eyes. Because I was afraid. Of prison? Of losing the company, she says. Of losing face. Of losing you and admitting I needed you. The words land hard. I breathe and loosen the knot a notch. Don't, she says. I said no harm, I say. We're not done. Breathe. She flexes her fingers and stares at the recorder. What happens now? The warehouse listens, cold, while her silence answers me. Now the truth leaves this room, I say. And so do you when you choose which side you're on. The glass cafe glitters like a fishbowl. I slip into a booth and keep my hands still. He arrives without sound. His suit is quiet money, his smile a blade. Ethan, Oliver Reed says. Brilliant work. Shame about the scandal, I lower my eyes. Numbers don't scandal, people do. He chuckles. And people vanish. Numbers remain. I can fix your numbers, I say. Can you make noise disappear? He asks. I shake my head. Noise grows. Then you are of no use, he says. Maybe I'm of strategic use, I say. He tilts his glass. Pitch me. I slide a thin folder across. Projected risk curves, revised tolerance. Board eats this up. He doesn't touch it yet. And your price? Not exile, I say. A seat. A seat at my table? He asks. A seat back at mine, I say. With my name clean. He leans forward. Marcus says you're volatile. I say Marcus is sloppy, I answer. He smiles. Sloppy makes money. You make friction. Friction stops fires, I say. Or sparks them, he says. Tell me why I shouldn't let Marcus finish you. Because I know where the shells end, I say. His eyes flick. Do you? Vendor credits to holding shells to a private fund you structured, I say. Allegations, he says. Patterns, I answer. He taps the folder. You brought me a gift? A preview, I say. Real gift if we agree. He opens it, flips once. Pretty. It shows the cost control veil collapsing under audit, I say. You think you scare me with charts? I think you care about your name, I say. Names are for magazines, he says. Funds live offshore, he sips his drink. You're nervous. I'm deliberate, I say. You still believe in fairness? He asks. I believe in leverage, I say. Good, he says. Then prove you can silence Ava Reed. My stomach knots. Why? She's a leak, he says. She's a conscience, I answer. He laughs softly. Consciences drown first. I'm not your diver, I say. Then Marcus is right. You're finished, he says. Maybe, I say. Maybe I'm just starting, he pushes the folder back. I'll review. Take it, I say. Yours now. Your only copy? He asks. My only copy, I lie. He smirks. You're learning, I stand. Call me when you want clean numbers. I'll call you never, he says. I lean in. Noise grows. He waves a hand. Goodbye, Ethan. I walk out, heart steady. The folder in his hand is a decoy with a tracker tucked in the spine. Outside, Liam's text waits. Ping active? Active, I sent. Track him. Back at the warehouse, metal echoes my steps. Victoria sits where I left her, free but still. Well? She asks. He took the bait, I say. What bait? A file with a tracker, I say. Now I know where Oliver breathes. She watches me with a new face. You planned this. You planned to break me, I say. I learned. I didn't want this, she says. You signed this, I say, tapping the board with her name. I signed to survive, she says. So did I say. But survival changes shape. What will you do with Oliver? She asks. Follow him, I say. See who he calls, where he hides. He'll sense it, she says. He already sensed me, I say. Now he knows I can stand at his table. Marcus will not stop, she whispers. Then Marcus meets daylight, I say. You're turning into them, she says. No, I say. I'm turning the game back. She looks at the recorder. You still taping? Yes, I say. Why? Because truth erases excuses, I say. You'll ruin me, she says. You ruined yourself, I say. I'm just catching the pieces. Her eyes harden. Oliver won't fall easily. Falling isn't my goal, I say. Exposure is. And after? I walk out clean, I say. Maybe you crawl out too. Why keep me here? She asks. Because you still know things, I say. You think I'll testify? I think you'll choose not to drown with Marcus, I say. She glances at the board. Arrows, names, times. You built a war room. I built a mirror, I say. Look at it. Silence. Finally, she says, what do you want from me tonight? Confirmation, I say. Oliver funds Marcus. Marcus runs the veil. You signed. All true? All true, she says, eyes down. And you feared losing me? I ask. I feared losing everything, she says. Then start by telling the truth, I say. I check my phone. The tracker dot moves toward the uptown towers. Where's he going? She asks. Home or hideout, I say. Be careful, she says. Noise grows, I answer. So does courage. I lock the screen. Tomorrow we pull the curtain back, she closes her eyes. And then? Then you decide which side you're on, I say. A sharp knock cracks through my apartment. Ethan Cole, a voice calls. Depends who's asking, I say. Detective Aaron Carter, she answers. Open up. I unlatch the chain. Badge? She flashes it. We got a tip your model was dirty. My model is clean, I say. The money isn't. Explain that, she says, stepping in. Kickbacks dressed as efficiency, I say. I built a choke point. They built a tunnel. Names? She asks. Off record? Everything is on record, she says. I fold my arms. Then you'll get files, not rumors. She studies me. Where's Victoria Hale? She's safe, I say. That answer worries me, she says, because it's vague. Because vague people vanish, she says. I'm not vague, I say. I'm careful, she tilts her head. We could bring you in. For what? For obstruction, she says, or for telling the truth? I ask, where is she? Somewhere she can't run, I say. Her eyes sharpen. That sounds like restraint. It sounds like protection, I say. You protecting her or yourself? Both, I say. But mostly the truth. She glances at my hands. They're shaking. Pressure, I say. Pressure cracks glass, she says. You don't want to be inside when it breaks. You here to warn me? I'm here to verify a tip, she says. And you're dancing around it. I'm building evidence, I say. Then give me some, she says. Not yet, I say. Too many ears. Call me before someone ends up in a morgue, she says. I plan on daylight, not bodies, I say. She hands me a card. You'll need me. I'll need a lot, I say. Don't wait too long, she says, and leaves. I shut the door and press my palms to the wall. My fingers tremble. I call Dr. Neil Patel. He answers on the second ring. Ethan? Yeah, I say. I'm shaking. Tell me what happened, he says. Detective knocked. Tip about my model. Victoria in play. And you feel? Cornered, I say. Like the warehouse walls are inside me. Breathe, he says. I'm breathing, I say. Do not trade your soul for revenge, he says. I'm not, I say. I'm trading silence for truth. Truth without peace is still a wound, he says. I need the wound closed, I say. Then close it without poison, he says. I don't know if I can, I say. You can, he says. Small choices. Small choices don't stop giants, I say. Small choices change you, he says. I lean against the fridge. You're my compass. Use me, he says. But keep your hands clean. I'm trying, I say. Try harder, he says. And eat something. I'll eat, I say. Promise, he says. I promise, I say, and hang up. I stare at the night through the window. Neon bleeds into rain. My reflection looks like someone I used to know. I grab a bag, food, water, a thermos, and head to the docks. The warehouse smells of salt and metal. She sits where she sat, rope slack but present. I brought food, I say. She looks at the floor. A hostage meal? A witness meal, I say. Untie me, she says. I loosen the rope a notch. Drink, I say, holding the thermos. She sips without looking at me. You're feeding me like a prisoner, she says. I'm feeding you like someone who still matters, I say. I don't matter, she says. You matter to the truth, I say. She sets the thermos down. If I talk, I die. If you don't, you drown slower, I say. You think Marcus won't find me? I think Marcus will find headlines, I say. You're naive, she says. I'm stubborn, I say. She lifts her wrists. Why keep the rope? Because fear runs faster than words, I say. I need you here until you decide. Decide what? To stand with the truth, I say. You'll hand me over? I'll hand us both to daylight, I say. Daylight burns, she says. It also shows the exit, I say. She stares at the board. You drew me like a suspect. I drew you like a key, I say. A key to what? Oliver Reed, I say. Marcus's puppet master. You think you can touch him? I already did, I say. Tracker's live. You're insane, she says. I'm awake, I say. She looks at me softer. Detective came? Yes, I say. What did you tell her? That you're safe, I say. Safe in a cage, she says. Safe in a pause, I say. I used to trust you, she says. I used to trust you, I answer. Now what? She asks. Now we crawl out, I say. I hand her bread. Eat, she takes a bite. If Marcus kills me, he'll have to come through me, I say. That's not protection, she says. That's suicide. It's choice, I say. Then choose freedom, she says. I choose truth, I say. I sit opposite her. The warehouse hums. My hands still shake, but slower now. Talk when you're ready, I say. She closes her eyes. I'm not ready. Then drink, I say. She drinks. The rope between us feels like a thin glass line. I hear it creak, waiting to crack. Midnight taps the warehouse door. Ava? I ask. It's me, she says, pale and shaking. Marcus knows. Knows what? He thinks you took Victoria, she says. He's hunting. Sit, I say. Breathe. I can't, she says. Ops is sweeping phones. Leave yours off, I say. We end it tonight. How? Public, I say. Loud, clean. I call a number. Julia, it's Ethan Cole. A sleepy voice sharpens. You finally ready? I'm ready to show, I say. Bring a camera. Bring courage. I have both, she says. Angle? Board meeting live stream, I say. Ask Oliver Reed about a shell. Name it. Northline Acquisitions, I say. He'll call it consulting. And proof? Real ledger, server logs, and an audio clip, I say. You recorded him? I tracked him, I say. I open my laptop and push files to a secure drop. Hash list, session IDs, ledger with Victoria's stamp. Julia texts, received, verifying. Stream time, 9 a.m. Eastern I send. Copy, she replies. I'll script questions. My phone buzzes. Noah, this is risky. Justice is a risk, I text. Chain of custody. Stay off the mic, he writes. 2 drives, hashes, no edits. Reporter leads I send. Ava hugs herself. If this fails, I'm dead. If it fails, I'm dead first, I say. But it won't. What about Victoria? She's safe, I say. Will she talk? When daylight hurts enough, I say. The tracker map shows a slow dot uptown. Oliver's moving, I say. Does he know? He thinks he's untouchable, I say. Good. Julia pings a video call. Walk me through. Start with shareholder value, I say. Then Northline. If he lies, play the call. Exact line? Loosen thresholds, Marcus. Dress the cuts as efficiency, she whistles. Spicy. Cauterizing, I say. See you on the stream, she says. Ava watches my hands. You're shaking. Price of breathing, I say. We'll watch from the lobby cafe, anonymous. Marcus will preen, she says. He lives for cameras, I say. Noah calls. Speaker on. Confirm originals, he says. Read-only images, backups. Hashes, I say. Good. Give Julia the summary, he says. Sent, I say. If security touches you, say my name and shut up, he adds. I prefer receipts, I say. Let the reporter talk, he says. I will, I say. By dawn, we reach the towers and fade into a lobby crowd. Ava grips my sleeve. Last chance to run. I'm done running, I say. Then stand still, she says. Standing, I say. The stream opens on a white table. Oliver sits smooth, chin up. Marcus lounges with a smirk. Julia's voice threads in. Question on vendor credits, she says. Mr. Reed, what is Northline Acquisitions? A consulting partner, he says, easy. I whisper, now the page. Julia lifts a print. Ledger shows efficiency credits routed to Northline after threshold changes. Initials VH appear, Oliver smiles. You misunderstand accounting. Then why do server logs show token misuse at 2:17 a.m. before Northline invoices? She asks. Your premise is wrong, he says. I text the queue. Play clip. Julia nods. Let's listen. His voice fills the cafe. Loosen thresholds, Marcus. Dress the cuts as efficiency. Our margin needs a story. On screen, Oliver freezes. Murmurs ripple. Ava squeezes my wrist. We did it. We started it, I say. Marcus leans into his mic. Fabricated. Julia stays calm. We verified the hash and matched metadata to your lunch downtown. Coincidence, he says. She fires again. Coincidence also explains corridor cameras failing at 2:10. He looks off camera. Oliver smooths his tie. Our counsel will respond. Julia doesn't blink. Why do vendor credits mirror deposits to a Cayman fund you manage? Silence stretches, my phone buzzes. Noah, hold position. Detective watching copy, I send. Grace. Proud of you. Save it for the verdict, I reply. Ava whispers, if they cut the feed? Mirrors live, I say. Backup link ready. You thought ahead, she says. I don't like erasers, I say. On screen, Oliver leans close. We will audit, he says. Start with the recording, Julia answers. The moderator calls a recess. The logo spins, the cafe exhales. Phones light. My hands finally ease, Ava breathes out. Can I go home? Not yet, I say. Noah first, then Detective Carter. You think they'll arrest him? Maybe not today, I say. But the cut already bled back. My phone rings, unknown. Yes? A voice says, walk away, Ethan. I walk toward, I say, and end the call. I stare at the blank screen. Noise grows, I whisper. So does truth. Right now. Fabrications! Marcus shouts on the live stream, and I grip my coffee. Your voice, your timestamps, Julia says, steady. Hold, I whisper. Spliced audio, Marcus says. Malicious edits. Hash verified, Julia answers. Time matched to your calendar, I breathe once. The moderator bangs a pen. Order, Oliver leans in. We will address this in private session. Public allegations deserve public answers. Julia says, end the stream, someone mutters. Keep it rolling, I whisper. Detective Aaron Carter walks into frame with agents. Detective Carter. Warrant for communications and financial records. Oliver rises. Outrageous. Lawful, she says. He moves for the door. The agents block him. Marcus smirks. You can't arrest a spreadsheet. You can seize one, she says. And a phone. The moderator wilts. Brief recess. Question pending, Mr. Reed, Julia says. Oliver goes still. The room hums. Ava squeezes my sleeve. They feel it. They feel the fall, I say. My phone buzzes. Grace, proud of you. I text, wait for court, Noah. Do not enter. Stay put, I send, staying. Is Carter seizing servers? He replies, yes. Don't gloat. The stream returns. Carter. Devices in the tray, please. Marcus growls. Counsel present. Counsel can join, she says. Devices first. Black rectangles land in a pan. I call the warehouse. It's done, I tell Victoria. Oliver? She asks, small. Stopped at the door, I say. Warrant in hand. Am I going to prison? She whispers. You signed things you should not have signed. I say. I thought I was protecting the company. You were protecting yourself, I say. Silence slides between us like fog. Will you hand me over? She asks. I'll give you a choice, I say. Walk out with a statement or run and lose everything. I can't outrun Marcus. You can out-talk him now, I say. The clip boxed him in. I wrote memos, she says. He wrote shadows. Then light them, I say. She exhales. Untie me and I'll decide with my feet. I'm coming, I say. I rise. We move, I tell Ava. Now? She asks. Now, I say. Noah holds legal. Carter holds the room. Sirens comb the corridor as I drive for the docks. My hands shake, then steady. A black SUV turns the other way. Chase the wrong ghost, I murmur. I roll up the warehouse door. Salt and metal breathe out. She stands where the rope left soft marks. I kept my word, I say. No harm. You kept me breathing, she says. I loosen the rope, coil it into a ring. Drink, I say, offering water. She sips. You look like the verdict already came. It started, I say. She touches the board. I hate that cracked crown. It cracked for a reason, I say. Her eyes glass. If I speak, can I save anything? You can save the truth, I say. And maybe yourself. What about you? I get my name back, I say. Where do we do this? She asks. On the pier, I say. Open air, witnesses. I used to stage everything, she says. Stage an apology, I say. She nods. I'll speak, I hand her a page. This is a spine, not a script. Use your words, she reads. I signed cost control memos. I ignored warnings. I accept inquiry. I will cooperate. Add one more line, I say. I benefited from silence. I apologize to those harmed. She writes it with my pen, hand shaking. We step into dusk. The bay wind scrubs my lungs. She keeps pace. Will Carter meet us? She asks. She will, I say, texting. Carter, 2 blocks out. Keep her calm. She's walking on her own, I send. Footsteps ripple on concrete. I'm sorry, she says. For which part? I ask. For breaking you to protect myself, she says. For handing Marcus my courage. Make the apology to the mic, I say. We reach the rail. The city glitters through thin fog. Ready? I ask. No, she says. But I'll speak. That's enough, I say. Carter steps from shadow. Ms. Hale, Mr. Cole. She's here to cooperate, I say. Victoria lifts the page. I have a statement. Carter nods. We'll take it. I step back. 1 second, I say, meeting Victoria's eyes. She holds my gaze. Thank you for the rope. For not running? I ask. For holding me long enough to choose, she says. Sirens fade to a thread. Across the water, towers look smaller. Let's end it right, I say. Let's start it right, she answers, and turns to the light. I will, I send. Did you know Ethan Cole was innocent? The prosecutor asks. I chose not to look, she says. That is knowing by another name. Defense rises. Ms. Hale, are you bargaining? I'm confessing, she says. The microphone squeals and settles.
State your name, the clerk says. Victoria Hale, she says.
I will testify. I sit behind the rail. Tell us about cost control, the prosecutor says. She looks down, then up. It was a veil, she says. Marcus sold it. Oliver funded it. Names, please, the prosecutor says. Marcus Voss, she says. Oliver Reed. Noah leans close. Stay quiet, he whispers. I'm Stone, I whisper. Why did you sign? The prosecutor asks. I thought I had to be perfect, she says. Perfect leaders don't stall. And the kickbacks? They hid under credits, she says. Marcus routed them. Oliver pressured me. You understood the risk model? I did, she says. I ignored it. My phone vibrates. Julia texts, You're not the villain anymore. I type back. I tied someone up. Write it, she replies. But write why? Who benefits from your confession? People who deserve a company without thieves, she says. And the man I wronged. Noah taps my sleeve. After this, we negotiate, he says. Terms? I ask. Primary witness, he says. Whistleblower cooperation. Immunity on narrow acts. I don't want free, I say. I want clean. We ask for both, he says. The judge calls recess. Cameras click, Julia angles near. Quote? She asks. Use this, I say. Truth hurts less than rot. And the rope? Write that I restrained a runner with soft knots and fed her, I say. I needed a pause to hear truth. You're handing me your worst thing, she says. It only stays worst if I lie, I say. Then I'll print it straight, she says. Ava edges over with a marshal. They moved me, she says. Protection detail. You safe? Safer, she says. Marcus texted from unknown numbers. Block and log, I say. We gave Carter the pattern. She knows, Ava says. She said I was brave. You were, I say. Liam barrels in and crushes me. Breathe, he says. I'm breathing, I say. You look lighter, he says. Truth shaved a pound, I say. Grace finds me with 2 coffees. Sip, she says. You saved me with caffeine, I say. She whisper laughs. You look like a ghost. Friendly ghost? Haunted and handsome, she says. Rest later. I will, I say. Noah returns with a folder. Offer on the table, he says. Read it, I say. Cooperation agreement, he says. You testify, supply originals, maintain no contact. In return, discretion on civil exposure. And criminal? None for you, he says. You were framed. I still tied someone up, I say. I disclosed it, he says. Context matters. Sign? I ask. He hands a pen.
Sign. I write my name and feel weight shift. No leaks, Noah says.
We keep you clean. Keep me honest, I say. Detective Carter steps in. Status, she says. Cooperation signed, Noah says. She nods. We executed warrants. Reed's accounts froze. Marcus? I ask. In interview, she says. He sweats like a faucet. Press? I ask. Hungry, she says. Victoria approaches with counsel. I named them, she says. I heard, I say. I also named my fear, she says. It ran my hands. What now? I ask. I will help, she says. I will pay. You'll testify again? As many times as it takes, she says. We stand near a window. I wanted to be perfect, she says. Perfection made me cruel. Perfection made you blind, I say. I'm sorry, she says. I know, I say. Keep saying it to the record. She steps back.
Do you hate me?
I hate what you did, I say. But I need my life more than I need hate. I meet Dr. Patel. What do you want now? He asks. Not revenge, I say. Not really. I want a life. What does that mean today? He asks. Work with clean numbers, I say. Sleep 8 hours. Call my sister without crisis. And love? He asks. Maybe later, I say. First air, he nods. Choose small piece daily. I will, I say. Price? I tell the truth even when it slices me, I say. Promise? Promise, I say. I step outside. Liam waves. Grace lifts a coffee. Ava smiles. Julia types. Noah tucks the folder. Victoria stares at the steps. I breathe. Life, I tell myself. Start paying and start living. Now. The warehouse breathes like a tired animal. I stand in the doorway and let the sun stripe the concrete. Last look, I tell myself. The chair sits empty. The rope hangs tucked away. The door yawns open like a healed mouth. I forgive what I can, I say into the echo. I carry what I must. My phone vibrates. A new email subject blinks, I'm sorry. I will pay my part. I read the sender, Victoria. I hear you, I whisper, and do not reply. I call Noah. Status? Your name is clean, he says. The cooperation holds. Civil suits will circle, but you're shielded. Am I free? You're freer, he says. Keep your head down and your files backed up. I owe you, I say. You owe yourself a quiet day, he says. Detective Carter texts. Trial's set. Oliver and Marcus in court next month. Don't gloat. Do rest, I smile. I'll try, Ava calls next. I start at the new firm Monday, she says. You earned it, I say. They like that I ask questions, she says. Keep asking, I say. Even when answers glare, she laughs. You sound like a mentor. I sound like a man leaving a room, I say. Leave the light on, she says. The light leaves with me, I say, and wish her luck. Julia pings a link. Stories trending. Comments are mostly kind. Mostly? I ask. Internet math, she says. But the rope paragraph hit. He paused a runner, fed her, and listened. I could have done worse, I say. You did better, she says. You ready for a follow-up? Not yet, I say. Let the dust be dust. Text me when it settles, she says. Or when it storms, I say. Liam calls from the street. You still brooding in there? I'm choosing, I say. Choose drinks, he says. Soon, I say. I'm saying goodbye. To steel and ghosts. To fear, I say. Proud of you, man, he says. You didn't burn it down. I changed the locks, I say. Grace appears in the doorway with a paper bag. Snack run. You're a saint, I say. I'm a sister, she says. Eat before you make big speeches to empty walls. I already gave the wall a sermon, I say. What did the wall say back? It echoed the good parts, I say. She smiles. Mom would like that line. I hope she likes this one, I say. I'm done sleeping on anger. Then pack joy, she says. I'm trying, I say. Dr. Patel answers my scheduled call. Check in, he says. Check, I say. Pulse steady. What do you feel when you look at that chair? Grief, I say. Relief, shame, relief again. What do you want now? A day with no crisis, I say. And tomorrow? A day that looks like today, I say. Name your anchors. Grace, Liam, work that doesn't lie, sleep. And yourself? I'm on the list, I say. Move yourself up, he says. I will, I say. The sun warms the floor. Dust turns to glitter. I lift the key from my pocket and weigh the metal in my palm. You kept me safe, I tell it. Now go quiet. I hang it on a nail near the door. It clicks like a period. My phone rings again. Carter voice, brisk. Quick note, she says. We'll need you for one more walkthrough of the evidence chain. I'll be there, I say. Keep travel simple, she says. No late night solo trips. I learned, I say. I can tell, she says. I send a last text to Noah. Thank you for the spine. He replies, you brought the spine. I brought forms. I'll frame the forms, I say to the empty room, and laugh for the first time in days. I walk the perimeter once. Goodbye, oil stain, I say.
Goodbye, Echo. The chair waits, then fades into object.
The board lies clean, markers capped, arrows erased. Ethan, Liam calls from outside, voice bouncing against the door.
Drinks? I grin.
Yeah, but first fresh air.
Fresh air is free, he says.
Today I can afford it, I say. I step into the light. The bay wind hits my face and tastes like forgiveness. I breathe in the salt and let it land all the way down. This is not the end, I tell myself, walking toward the water. This is the start. Behind me, the warehouse sighs. I do not look back. I keep walking toward morning and light,